Lisa, it's Erica from Spirit 105.3 in Seattle. How are you?
Erica, I'm doing well for whatever day this is, Tuesday, I guess.
It's really nice to meet you.
Yeah, for sure. Likewise.
Okay, Lisa, for somebody who's never listened to your show, would you give us a little Costco sample?
Yeah, absolutely. It is pretty much to help young adults as they navigate, and I'm talking about college through 30-somethings, into adulthood, hopefully with a biblical worldview, and help them, really thrive in the areas of career, finance, faith, relationships, and just how to be mature in all areas of life.
Wow. How did you find yourself in that chair as the host of Boundless?
Well, I don't know if this is a good story to tell, but basically I was leading our media relations team here at Focus on the Family. That's my background, and was dating poorly at the same time. And the guys who were running Boundless said, well, you're really dating some losers. And I was kind of defensive about it. But then I realized they were probably right. And so I learned a lot from them and their wives. And at the same time, they said, well, you know what? We're thinking of starting a podcast, and you're single and like to talk. Do you want to host it? And I said, sure. I'd never been on that side of the mic necessarily. I'd done a lot of being the interviewee, So that was 15 years ago come January, and it's been quite a wild ride and really a privilege.
Oh, that's wonderful. I have a daughter who's single, Lisa. She's 24, and she told me the other day that she feels invisible. Like nobody sees her, and it's really hard for her. And I am at a loss as to how to encourage her, because deep inside, I know God has somebody special for her down the road, but you can only hear that so many times without rolling your eyes.
You can. Yeah. It's hard when people are talking from the other side of the aisle, so to speak, and kind of giving encouragement in that direction, even though it's always well meant. And so it's funny because a few years ago, I wrote a book on dating that I called The Dating Manifesto. And it was funny because the publisher, the first thing they said to me is, thank goodness we finally have a book that is written by someone who doesn't have a fairy tale ending yet.
Oh.
From a person like myself who's still single and walking it out and has never felt called to singleness. And so I think it is true that especially, in the church and certain communities, we trend towards marriage and families because that's what we're aspiring to. And that's a good thing. And we know it's a good thing. And, even Hebrews 13:4 says marriage is to be honored by all. And that includes single people. But at the same time, we have to recognize that singleness isn't a waiting room for marriage. And we're not going to get into some arrival point. It's not a second-class citizenship. God has great things for single people, whether they're young or older or single again, right where they are. And that's what we have to lean into and live out and realize that the spirit of community and family is throughout the church for all of us, whether we're married or not.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you for the new words to share with my Hannah. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So a new study is saying, Lisa, that over half of us in America are lonely. How do you go from feeling lonely to feeling loved and plugged in?
Well, it is pretty tricky because, again, it's a two-way street. I mean, I think, first of all, we have to recognize that we always have to look outside of ourselves and figure out who can we reach out to? Who can we be an inviter to? A lot of us, especially I hear this from singles who are like, well, why is no one calling me? Why is no one inviting me? And I'm saying, okay, well, you have the opportunity to, again, encouraging them into adulthood to be that person who can be that. But at the same time, we have to go beyond just hanging with like. And so maybe married couples within the church and families, it might be time to invite a single person into your sphere. Maybe it's for a holiday. Maybe it's after church on Sunday. I always think of so many single, especially younger adults are in a new city because of a job or education. They're away from their family. And so they need to be enfolded into someone else's. So I think a lot of times it also involves being intentional and investing in people. It's so easy for us, Erica. I'm sure you and I have both been here where it's like you see the drive-bys of like, oh, we got to do coffee sometime or let's do lunch. And it's always some vague nonsense that never goes anywhere. Well, we have to put something on the calendar, be willing to sit down, invest, make it happen, and even commit to those one-on-one connections because that's where you have the opportunity to really be seen and known.
Oh, it's so true. What are the benefits, Lisa, of making time for friends?
Well, I think, first of all, the spirit of Christ and the person of Christ is seen through his body body, the church, in so many ways. I say, not everyone is called to be married, but everyone is called to be in community, and no one is called to be alone. And so we all need relationship, and friendship is a great way to go after that. Even married people, marrieds, if you're listening, you need friends too beyond your spouse. Your spouse can't be your be-all, end-all. And so you have to recognize that. And to have that person who's going to encourage you, love you. When I talk to singles, I say, you need your tribe. You need those people who are the chicken soup when you're sick. They're the ride to the airport. They're the people you're going to hang out with. But also, they're the people who are going to sharpen you, and they might need to confront you on some stuff and help you grow and be that person who's going to nudge you towards greater maturity. We all need that, and that's why being willing to be real in relationships and take them to the next level is kind of that elusive holy grail that everyone's after, but we got to be willing to go after it and invest in a way that makes a difference and moves the needle.
Oh, Lisa, you're terrific. I hope you'll be a regular on the show.
Absolutely. I have so much to say, Erica, all the time.
You do, and I'm so glad you do. I'm so glad you're in that seat. Lisa Anderson, host of Boundless. She's an author. She's just awesome. Thank you for being with us on Spirit 105.3.
Always a privilege.